I think Al's not on our regular,
Oh, he should have been. Let me see, wait, I'm just waiting for this to go to YouTube.
Okay. We're here, so waiting for Marietta. Hey, Tom.
Yes, sir.
You weren't wearing your grievance commissioner outfit to a regular police commission outfit, are you? It's
Well, I went in and changed my tie.
I say, thankfully, okay. Here's Al Goldberg. While we've been working all afternoon, he finally joins us now.
Holly,
Yes,
can you send Marietta the link?
again, sure.
Man, you got from the train station. Where are you now? Are you home?
I'm at home. Mhm.
Did you sprint from the train, or was it just you live close to the tracks?
Ed, after 18, 20 months of this, I've gotten, like, I have a system. I can do Zoom, I can multitask, I can be in many places at the same time.
Well, look at, thank you very much. Yes. When Marietta joins us, we will be good to go.
There's one attendee so far.
Okay. We are just waiting to work for the attendee. We're waiting to work through some technical.
We have a quorum, Ed. Why don't we get started?
Okay.
I just sent it to her.
Okay, good. So are we, Holly, are we open?
Wait one second. Now I have to go back to the screen. Sorry.
Okay.
So we are, oh, 1 second. Okay, so we're good.
Okay. I'd like to convene the November 2021 meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners. And also welcome Selectman Al Goldberg, who's a liaison, Chief Drum, Captain Harkins, and Lieutenant Mulholland from the department, in addition to the commissioners. As our practice, we'd like to open our commission meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of
America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just as a precursor to our meeting, we understand that public in attendance meetings are now permissible. So hopefully, beginning with our December meeting, we will be convening in person at the Madison Police Department conference room, just for members of the public who would like to attend. It's certainly, while it may be convenient for some people for Zoom, it also seems to be a little more relaxed and informal in person. So we will be starting those those meetings in person as well. So our first order of business is review and acceptance. Say, Holly, I just got a note from Commissioner Lee. She's still waiting to receive the link. Could you give her another try? Her email is not going through. And if one of the commissioners has the ID and password passcode, if we could send that to her. Did I tell you how much I love the Zoom meetings? But while we're waiting for her to join us, why don't we move ahead with the review of the minutes of the October minutes? Is there a motion to accept the October minutes as written?
Motion to, yes, to accept minutes.
Any changes, modifications to the minutes?
None here.
Is it,
No,
Ann? Okay. Motion to accept the minutes as written. All those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are accepted. So public, why don't we defer the public comments until Holly returns so that she could, okay, Marietta is now on. Thank you, Marietta. Holly, thank you. She's there in full living color.
She's in disguise as Ann.
She's in disguise. All right.
yeah, I guess they're personal links that Holly sets up. So Marietta, you want to change your name to
Yeah.
from me.
Well, I sent you one as well, so you're better off with Ann than Tom.
I sent you mine also.
So we're in the public comment portion of the meeting. Is there any member of the public that would like to comment at this time? Holly, is any member of the public blinking on and off?
No,
Okay.
my
Uh,
only attendee I see is Chris Dubay.
Okay. Good. Okay. Chief, why don't we move through with your report?
Okay, good evening, everybody. We'll start with the our budget financial report. We're in the midst of building a more easier reading and following report. We should have that for you with the December meeting. We spent some time with Stacy and Kristen over in finance, input from Ed, what he'd like to see. Holly sat down with Kristen so we could put it in, have it so it autofills into an Excel sheet and make it a lot easier for the as we progress through each month and quarter. Okay, so starting with the budget, essentially we're where we should be at this time of year. Some of the upfront loaded audits for equipment and stuff have been done. They've been encumbered. The challenges that we're going to face is in the labor area. All right. As you know, we have essentially down 6 officers. One officer is at the academy, and she is not due to graduate till April. I have one lateral that will be joining us. That's Matt Larson. Those that interviewed him will be joining us at the end of the month, beginning of December. That will be second position. These positions are caused by the retirement of Officer Dolce, Officer Pardalis, and Officer Bull. Additionally, we have one sergeant who's out on extended medical leave from that serious accident that he was involved in. We have one officer who is out on extended leave, and it may turn into an FMLA extended up to 11 weeks. We have a Officer Strickland who's been out, will be returning to duty on Monday, the 15th. So we're going to have our impact to our patrol coverage minimum. We're going to see an increase in that budget line. That's the overtime replacement line. I spoke with Stacy this morning. Right now, we have 3 positions that are not filled, and one is partially a lesser wage and training. What I asked that she consider is that we take one of the positions, which we probably won't fill till late 2022 fiscal year before we enter July 1st. That's approximately $80,000, and move that from unencumbered in the wage line, the general wage line, which is the 51,040, and move that to the replacement line. That would give us a cushion that would carry us into the spring. So if you folks, further discussion on this, but if you folks concur, then I'll do that, and I'll make the request for the line item transfer. I don't see, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Why don't you finish your thought, please?
Okay, so at this point, that's the best way I can rectify this and somehow mitigate the expense in that line and keep the budget balanced as we go into the the end of the 21-22 fiscal year.
I was going to say, it seemed to make sense to me, recognizing that with this shortage, for a period of time, we are likely to see a significant increase in the overtime line as well. And we have never been staffed. In my opinion, we haven't been staffed with any cushion at all. I mean, if everyone, all officers are in, which is unusual, all officers are available, we've kind of managed to get by with our friends sometimes from other departments for certain events. So we really, I think, and have been for a period of time, really right at the edge on the staffing side. We'll talk more in the upcoming months as we get through the budget season, how we're going to provide more resources so that we are not as close to a crisis level staffing. We have a responsibility in terms of the caliber of the officers we want to attract and retain, to allow them to have earned time off and for spend with their families or whatever. So this, we're going to be juggling some dollars here. The chief is going to be juggling some dollars, operating expense dollars on, as he said, on the salary line accounts, I think for the next several months at least. So, certainly the last thing we want to do, recognizing we have some vacancies, is to take dollars out of the budget. I mean, we can't afford to lose those dollars. We have to reallocate them to other parts of the labor budget. Chief, I certainly support you in moving the dollars around where needed.
Yeah, we have a couple more interviews to do for the process for those that might be attending the academy. We also have, as I said, we have Matt Larson joining us from the town of Guilford. We have another officer who's a lateral that we could, we hope we could present before the commission as a viable candidate for an interview, perhaps get them up and running in, we'll say, early spring, late winter. That's a possibility. They gave the exam for the South Central Criminal Justice. Also, I've talked to people in the Law Enforcement Council in the East of Fairfield County. They're all in the same. People have left. A lot of people have left the law enforcement profession for various reasons. As far as attracting candidates, we're used to get, if 100% was 1,800 people on average would make an application to Haven County to be a police officer, we're receiving 10% of that now and less. And of course, you have to vet the candidates. So I don't think there's going to be any quick remedy to this. We're going to do what we can with the resources that we have. We're very cognizant of the stresses put on our officers, although there are some that are probably enjoying the overtime. So I'll keep you folks posted on this as it progresses. If there isn't any further discussion on this point, I'd like to have a discussion, if very briefly, if that we consider doing a workshop with the commission on the budget presentation, that we at that point have a discussion on what we'd like to look for, not look for, what we may have for increases, what statutorily with the Police Accountability Act are we going to have to encumber as a line item come July 1st. Al, I'm remiss. Congratulations on your reelection. So I think it'd be prudent that we could pick a Saturday morning or whatever works for you folks, and I'll bring the coffee in, and within a little bit over an hour, we probably will go over it, and give me direction and sense of where the commission would like to see me go as we go into the next fiscal year presentation. Questions, comments?
I think it's a great idea. I know the chief has been working on, really developing some analysis to support both the operating and capital budget requests. And I think giving him the opportunity to work with finance so that, our numbers are that we present and discuss are rock solid. I think that's going to be a very, helpful, probably much more productive way to do it than try to, have one of our regular police commission meetings, go on for an extended period of time. I think if we, as the chief said, if we could find an hour or so, we'll have the material kind of delivered to you before then, so we could look at it. I think it'd be a helpful way to do it. We could certainly do some polling to find out what the most convenient time would be for people to maximize our attendance. But I think from our earlier discussions, we're going to be going ahead with a significant operating and likely capital budget increase for the department, probably the most significant that, at least in my experience, this commission has presented to the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance. And I think it's going to, behoove us so that, we understand it, we're conversing with it. If there are things that we need to challenge the chief on, we do that. If we have questions about it, we have some time for he or his staff to answer it. So I think it's a great idea.
The idea I have is if I could have Polly poll you folks within the next week or so, and we can make it a dinner meeting if that's more convenient. We'll just have dinner, and I'll get a room put aside. We could sit there. I'll do a presentation on a screen, hopefully, or at least on laptops, and that we could give me the direction where you'd like to see us go. Additionally, Al, I don't think they set the dates yet for the schedule for the final submissions and the process that starts with the Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen, and CIP. Is there any new? That's what I was told at the end of last week. They don't have any dates yet.
That's correct. The final date has not been established. It'll probably be the third week in January.
Okay, so we could meet like the first or second week of the holiday. I don't know, we could make it a meeting, obviously, because we're all there, and we can go over it. I could do a presentation. You folks will say, Jack, would I like to see or not see, or maybe we should wait, or whatever. Put your input then. And also, it'd be a better way for me to give you an understanding how Munis works and how the categories there.
Good. Okay.
Are we good with that?
Yeah, there are no downsides to that.
Sounds great.
Okay. The only other thing is, I just very brief, and I'll discuss when we did the budget. I'm going to take we had two captains. I'm going to take the captain's role that was assigned primary with CALIA training and other administrative tasks. And we're basically reassigning those duties. So Captain Harkins has taken on some of the duties already, as well as my office has taken on some of the duties. Jeremy York is back in training and also partial with CALIA. What I'd like to do is take wage that was placed with Joe Race and right-size that several ways. One, I'd like to use a civilian CALIA manager for the future. I don't want to have to move somebody because of promotion, somebody leaves the department. I don't want to lose that continuity. I've gone back and forth with discussion with HR as to how I could, what the position would entail. They've done a job description. It's a job evaluation. That wage would start anywhere from 54 and go up to a high, I believe, of 72. So if we use the high figure just as to taking that out of the wage for Captain Race, that still allows us approximately almost 60-something thousand that we have, correction, 50-something thousand. Also in that, we have an increase at some point in the spring. There was a discussion with the chairman, not finalized. It's a full discussion with the commission. We have a lieutenant's list that's open till July 1st of next year. If we have a lieutenant that retires and we have we promote, we have the differential from sergeant to lieutenant also within that, which is approximately 12,000 new contract. In addition to that, the consideration is where we land for July 1st in regards to a social worker embedded within the police agency. So I know that I've explained to you folks, so I'm following through with a social, basically MSW students, interns. I have one presently in the building who's working with us. She's working on her graduate degree. We have a second who's joining us in January, this is her last semester, and she'll be able to take the test to be a licensed social worker. So it's that funding to fund them during these semesters, and also I'd have to fund the clinical supervision through Youth and Family Services in this town. There is a little bit of wiggle room there, and the remainder, approximately $42,000 that we could use towards that. I was asked if that money was going to be eliminated. I said no. I don't want to sound like my chairman. That money's staying within our budget. It's for an allocated position. It's already been approved. So if folks have any questions to that? Do you think it's the right track to follow?
Will there be any relief financially, Chief, expected from the state for any of these social positions?
Say that again?
Will there be any financial relief given to Madison from the state for these social positions that you're thinking of adding on?
I'm sorry, I'm smiling.
Silly boy.
Probably not. Maybe the city.
Okay.
Probably not.
Okay. Second question, the civilian CALIA manager. Will there be any impact on the efficacy of a civilian versus a sworn officer in managing and maintaining the CALIA status?
Well, first of all, we're going to have Jeremy York still going to be partnered with it as a sworn officer, but currently in the state of Connecticut, there are 4 civilian CALIA managers. They also handle the training component for the departments. The departments found that as a better route. Instead of putting a sworn personnel in that position, they preferred to put civilian and keep the sworn personnel on the actual mission of the department.
Okay. Thank you.
Chief, you know what might make sense, and I know not everything fits into living on your convenient calendar, but as part of this potential budget workshop that we're talking about, if you could, bring that information, since it would be a new operating expense item, maybe bring that to that workshop, and share a little more, give you a little more time to maybe not finalize, but to share what your ideas are, what their role might be, how how they might be directed, reporting relationships. Just give you a few more weeks to continue to develop that position based on what you hear coming out of the state, and what if there's a relationship with the school. There's always going to be the question of, so how's the money going to flow? Who's going to be on the accounts, receivable check with this. So just give you some time to think about, I know you've thought about it, but just review it a little more so that we can, digest it, because I'm certainly not up to speed on exactly how this would work. I know it's new across the state, so it's not like we're catching up to everyone else.
You're talking to the MSW, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because if we use I think the term they use is a support services tech / CALIA training management, system manager. That's a job evaluation committee. That's basically, it's already stated that they'll vote on it. It's an unaffiliated employee of the town hall who reports to the chief. As far as the MSW, this is, as we made great headway, and as this thing is tightening down, a lot of the, what's slowing us down has to do with some of the other agencies that deal with people with disabilities, because nobody wants to be left out. So it's like the discussion gets more intense, and I don't want to say we're slowing down, but it's, the meetings are lasting longer, and we're trying to, I don't think we're ever going to be able to please everybody. And there's also people competing, whether it be the people in 911 versus 811 versus 211. How do they send somebody to respond to a matter that doesn't require police officers? A lot of this is like a give and take. It's going on. And like I said, we've slowed down, but I think at the end of the day, we're going to get it done so that when they come back for this session in the spring, they're going to be able to vote on this and commit it to law. And if they don't, they're probably going to move the goalposts. They're going to say, okay, let's push this back to the next session.
Okay.
Which they've done like 3 times already. I use the term all the time. Please measure twice, cut once. Just don't throw it across the wall, against the wall, and hope it sticks. So.
Okay, good, thanks.
Any other questions on the budget?
Nope. Okay.
The quarterly activity statistics the last quarter will be in the January meeting.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go to training. We're in the midst of a recertification for a number of our officers and ongoing certification also for officers. Gang violence, each officer is required to attend 3 hours. Most of it has been held online, and that's through our subcontractor, which is post-certified. There's also a review of the state Connecticut cannabis bill summary. Each officer has completed 1 hour of overview training pertaining to that and the various laws. I have to tell you, it's very complicated. And the communities have to still Madison is putting together ad hoc committee. And it's going to involve some input from our commission, also from my office. I may have suggested one of you for that. We have collect NCIC recertification. We had 2 officers that recertified. That's an ongoing process through the year. We have our monthly South Central Regional Response Team training and our monthly K9 training, which was conducted. Any questions on training? Okay. Monthly traffic report. For the month of October, there were approximately 30 reported motor vehicle accidents, 6 involving injuries. Leading cause, once again, in motor vehicle accidents involved failure to drive an established lane and following too closely. To interpret that, that's people on their cell phones. Obviously, those individual charges have a bigger consequence for them insurance-wise. There were 10 reported private property accidents, and there were 3 assists to the Connecticut State Police for motor vehicle accidents, Interstate 95. Any questions in regards to, excuse me? Any questions?
Yeah, Chief, you mentioned failure to drive an established lane is primarily cell phone.
Well, they're being distracted. So they're traveling between the lanes, but the implication on the moving violation, The cell phone has a structured, cell phone use has a structured infraction schedule, first, second, third offense, where the driving an established lane and following too close have a different point system within the motor vehicle law, which could end in your suspension of your license.
Are there fines attached to this? Or are these warnings? How does that progress through the system?
There are fines set by the General Assembly to that, yes.
Okay.
You could read them all online if you'd like.
Were there any cars stolen this month?
Neil, help me out there. I think we had one or two. That was it. Neil, you're
Actually, the last time we had a stolen car was all the way back, I believe it was September 26th. So we went a month free of incidents.
Am I speaking to the assisted Clinton, with you that were taken out of Clinton week before last?
I don't know if you're referring to the ones that ended up in Brantford, but they bypassed our town that evening.
You know, let me, I was remiss, I got a copy of this, lock it or lose it, material that has been going around, and, I'm just trying to relate, Lieutenant, the effort that you and Captain Harkins and some other people made, during the summer months in terms of meeting with some of these neighborhood associations and, reminding people to lock their cars. Is that, I don't want to get too optimistic here, but do you think that's a cause and effect that, in fact, more people are locking their cars? They're paying a little more attention to what they should be doing on a more reasonable basis?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors, obviously, and you're never going to be able to pinpoint it. I think, we set out, we had concerned neighborhoods that wanted to get the message out. Some people didn't receive it so well. Others have. I think it's a combination of a little bit of targeted hardening where, yes, our informational message is getting out. They're not being successful, so they're going away. But we've also altered how we patrol, where we patrol, and when we patrolled. And I think it's a credit to, our guys out there as well, patrolling these areas and preventing it.
Well, look, I think, and I'm not, I'm not looking for a fairy godmother here, but I think on balance, what you've said is good news, and it makes sense. There's no, silver bullet here, but as you said, to harden the targets a little bit, adjust the patrols, engage with the public, educate them, talk about the partnership that, hey, you got to help us here, by locking your car, and you can't expect, an officer in a patrol car, to, totally eliminate something that might be going on, as we've talked about, 6 blocks over. So, I think, we're certainly maybe not bucking any major trend lines, but somewhat encouraging. Imagine what we do if we had a few more officers. So we'll see what happens. Good, thank you. Chief?
Okay, community calendar. The only event that we have left is the turkey trot. And let me speak first to the trunk or treat was very successful. A lot of folks attend. I want to thank my staff. I want to thank Captain Harkins and Neil Mulhern and Billy Roy for their donation of their services and participating. Hats off, extraordinary. If those that went and they created the scene was something out of Jurassic Park of our general booth we normally occupy during this. They Holly Burke and Katie Randall went out of the way and their families and decorated our booth. The theme was Jurassic Park Police Department. They dressed appropriately. Rumor has it that some of our officers were wearing costume of dinosaurs. It really was great. And Holly, thank you very much for all you've done, and most certainly to Katie Mandel and to Flo and others. That's, you know what? That brought me back to like the second, third year when I was here. It was great. So I thank you all for doing that, and the community most certainly took note of it, and others. So as I said, it's something I know we have to do it, so to speak. We want to do it. It started with a town that was in darkness from a storm back in 2010. So we're happy to do it. On to the turkey trot. Turkey trot's on for the 25th. The JCs, that's the usual suspected roads. We haven't, Doug, we haven't changed the route. Am I correct?
No, it's still down by the water.
Okay, still down. So we're still going to block the roads. We're going to give plenty of notice to people in the area, most certainly to the town. Those that participated have noticed it's taken on a not yet quite the Yale Harvard game, but people are tailgating and parking their cars on property and having a good time and enjoying the race. So, you know, although I have some people that really prefer we weren't down by the beach, it is truly an event. It's become a signature event, most certainly for the JCs and for the town of Madison.
Great. Al, are all the selectmen going to run again this year?
No, they're going to be pushed.
Yeah, I think we're done running for the year.
That's right. Okay. Not enough running here. No fun. Thanks. Good. Hey, we covered the monthly traffic report. Regional correspondence, I guess.
I don't have any, Mr. Chairman. I think that once again, when the legislation comes back in, we're going to see that infamous 911 consolidation bill get raised again and further discussed, and maybe more money on the table. I know we've had this discussion openly with our neighbors in all directions. So I think that's going to, it's probably going to pick up again in January. We still train together with our other agencies to support each other. We've had Clinton help us and participate, and most certainly we've helped them in some of their investigative matters with stolen cars. I'd like to think that those efforts by our officers of both police departments have had an effect on reducing auto theft, at least in our region. And we also will be regional. We're going back to having our regional Christmas party with the other police departments. So we're gonna, putting that back on the calendar. That's something that the chiefs and I, we support and we provide, and our staff is invited. It's a good event. Well, certainly for camaraderie and people getting to know one another.
Good. Well, I thought there was a very positive when we were doing it. As you said, just the opportunity to get to know the officers and the different agencies, I think is absolutely terrific. So I'm glad we're now able to get back into that. Anything? I'm looking at the new business. You mentioned, you did talk about the state. COVID is still on our agenda. I know we have some officers who are still being testing. Has that been going pretty smoothly with human resources?
My understanding is the schools are still maintaining the masks. We on town campus, effective with the second half of this week, have gone to, if you're vaccinated, you no longer have to require a mask. Employees that aren't vaccinated still are required to wear a mask and have the weekly testing. If that answers your question, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Correspondence?
I don't have it on my end, sir. If you may have something.
No. Well, I appreciate it. We had a little lighter agenda this evening. I know that in the past we've certainly have used our full planned time and then some, but let me just in terms of wrap up Commissioner comments.
None here.
Marietta? Tom?
No, sir.
Marietta?
No, I have nothing tonight. Thanks.
Ian?
Nothing from me either, thanks.
And I don't have any except to, again, thank people in advance for the hour or so that we're going to request that you follow up on the chief's idea for this budget workshop. Al, just in terms of the process, that may be something that you might want to attend as well, but we'll make you aware of it and certainly make it, as always, your input might be helpful. So anyway, thank you very
Can I
much.
say one thing? I
Sure.
think when we were trying to get Marietta in, we skipped over whether or not we were accepting the minutes. We went to public comments.
No, we did vote to accept them.
Oh, I must not have heard that. I must
yeah,
have been
yes.
off. Okay.
You were out. And by the way, it was overwhelmingly a positive vote to accept it. It was just enthusiastic and positive to accept it. I will confirm, and of course, when I say I, just think of Holly. Whenever I say I'm going to do something, just think of Holly or the chief. But we will confirm the December meeting in person. So hopefully that might be something we can go back to, and as well, again, depending on the timing of this workshop meeting, that might be something that we do. The key is to make it as convenient for the commissioners as possible to attend. And if the idea is, if you have the material in front of you, it'd be more convenient to have it a Zoom meeting. I'll go along with that, but the key thing is to have it. So again, thank you very much. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good, good. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
Bye.